Yesterday, I made a video talking about how full-time influencers need to have a side job. That video was mainly about how only making content all day, every day is extremely unfulfilling, even if you are making a very livable income from it and you don't technically need to do anything else. Oh my God, that's not my color at all. Okay, so today I'm gonna elaborate on that same topic a little bit more in regards to money. So this is something that honestly, I feel somewhat embarrassed and just ridiculous to even admit. When it comes to making money as an influencer, at first it starts out being so excited that you got offered $200 for a video. And then you get offered 400, and then you get offered 1,000. And it continues to increase as your engagement increases, as you continue to grow on social media. And every time you grow, you continue getting excited about the deals that come in until eventually you start seeing these really large numbers consistently, and you're being offered $40,000 for one single TikTok video, and your perception of money is completely skewed from reality. When we talk about out of touch influencers, I feel like people do not realize how easy it is to get caught up in this world of thinking that being paid that much money for one video is normal, especially if all of your friends that you surround yourself with are also full-time creators or they do TikTok shop. That is why, again, I think it is so important for full-time creators to have another side job because it roots you in reality. About 3.5 years ago, I became a group fitness instructor and I get paid $35 to teach a single class. Now I get paid $45 because I actually got a promotion. When you are making tens of thousands of dollars on a single video that might take you, let's say, an hour to film and an hour to edit, you are not batting your eye at a $300 dress that you see at the store. Because when you compare it to what you're making, it doesn't seem like it's a lot. But then if you come back to the fact that I make $45 a single class for an hour, I would need to teach 6 classes in order to afford that same dress. It's the same reason influencers will post a link to a dress they wore to a wedding. You'll click it and you'll be like, what the fuck? It's $550. Why do you think we can afford that? That is why their audience feels disconnected because they're like, huh? To them, they might think that it is a normal expense or a $150 top is not that much. Yes, it is. That is so expensive. One thing I found myself feeling a lot was that when I was only focused on making content and I didn't have another side project to focus on, I would spend a lot of my time going and shopping because it was good content. So in my video yesterday, I talked about how before I had my own business that I was working on, and now I'm creating content about the business I'm working on, I had to fabricate all the content that I was making. I had to come up with the ideas to live a life to make content about versus making content about the life I was living. So the easiest thing for me to do was to go to the store, was to go shopping. And because I had such a skewed perception of money, because I'm like, okay, I can just spend $300 at Home Goods, like no big deal. I hated how I started to feel after that became a consistent thing that I would do and I would spend my time doing. I used to have a podcast, it was called Fun on Weekdays, and I talked very consistently on it about just feeling super lost and unsure of who I was and who I wanted to be. And I think a lot of that uncertainty came because I was doing things that weren't making me feel good. It's easier to consume more than it is to really think deep within and make content that does not involve buying new products, trying new products, reviewing things. I am not saying I'm a saint. I am not. I have had many years of content where I've done exactly that, where I've done the PR hauls, I've done all the things. And when I first started creating content and I first started getting these opportunities, getting a box full of stuff from a brand that I love was the most exciting thing. I was so excited. I was so grateful. The thing that I just want to emphasize is that it can be really easy to take that for granted because it becomes your new normal. And because it's your new normal and because you live it every single day, getting packages sent to your door, getting discounts at the places you go to eat to post an Instagram story, getting free tickets to stuff, getting upgrades to everything, you start to expect it. It starts to lose the value and the excitement if you don't keep yourself grounded. And I feel like that is the key. So going back to this whole topic of influencers getting jobs outside of content creation, I think it can absolutely bring you back down to earth when you're working a job that you're working hard at, but you are making such a much smaller output than you are with your social media job. It gives you so much more appreciation for the fact that you are able to make more money from social media. And then because of that time flexibility, now you're able to do something outside of content that fulfills you a little bit more. Another way that I also ground myself and come back down to earth is the fact that majority of my friends are not full-time influencers. I have a couple girlfriends who I'm really close with that are like in this world, but all of those girls are very grounded in who they are. They all surround themselves with friends that are not online. We don't film every single time we hang out. We don't get together to film stuff. And when we do hang out, like we usually don't even post pictures about it. I still have my very best friends from high school. I have 5 girlfriends. They are like my sisters. And I never talk about social media stuff with them. I never tell them about how much money I'm making. I never complain about brands to them. When the entire circle of people that you surround yourself with are also in the social media world, and your conversations are commonly about events that you're going to, or complaining about brand revisions, or complaining about not being offered enough money, it is the easiest way to get wrapped up in this whole materialistic world. It can be really hard to recognize when you start feeling that shift in yourself, but it is not hard to recognize if you're an audience and you're watching someone. And usually the second your audience starts to feel that way about you is when you start to feel disconnected to them and they no longer really care about what you're doing, because you're living in a totally different world than they are. Have no fear, I am actually going to finish my makeup. I'm not going to leave it looking like this color, but I'm going to do that in a different video.